Oppenheimer by Christopher Nolan, the master storyteller, the legendary filmmaker of our times. It's his movie, so it has to be great. Is that the case? Does the name of the filmmaker enough to call a film great? Let's break it down. Hello guys, I'm Nona Prince and I know I'm late to this, but finally let's talk about Oppenheimer. Now the truth is, it is a difficult film to watch. It is very dense. The film is very dialogue heavy, and thankfully the version I saw had subtitles. Now compared to Nolan's previous film Tenet, this one is a breeze to watch, but as always, you need to pay attention. That's what the film demands. That's the style of Christopher Nolan. He structures his film as a puzzle, and throughout its running time, you have to piece it together. And when you finally put the last piece and all of it makes sense to you, it gives you a high. This film has a sense of chaos to it, but it's not because of the plot of the film or the movements in the film. If you think about it, it's actually very simple, very straightforward. But he induces this chaos through editing. He purposefully tells his story non-linearly. And it is said that films are made twice. Once when you're shooting it and the next time on the editing table. And that's one of my favorite questions to ask every filmmaker. Did the film we get stayed intact through the shooting process till the editing, or you made this film during editing? But I don't think this question can go to Christopher Nolan, because he has done this editing play in most of his films. He loves to play with time. He likes to shuffle the scenes. If you take Dunkirk, we have 3 stories in 3 different times, and he intercuts all 3 of them without us realizing until the end. In Tenet, he tells the story forward as well as backward and then intermixing it. Therefore, he designs his films in this manner. And through this non-linear editing, he creates tension. He creates intrigue. Like in this film, we have an interrogation scene with Oppenheimer. Then we have the hearing scene with Strauss, Robert Downey Jr.'s character. And from both those sequences, we get flashback scenes, which again are very non-linear. And generally, if you play so much with the editing, it can end up being a mess, but not with Nolan. Because again, it's a design of it. It's not a last minute thought. Now in the structure of this film, he's telling the story of this man through his POV. He has said that all the color scenes are subjective. It's Oppenheimer's interpretation. In all the color scenes, Oppenheimer is telling that narrative. And that's actually proven through the picture of the script that's floating around on social media. Now through this editing process, he leaves the audience hanging for answers. We want to know something from this moment, but we don't get it at that point. We move to something else. And later in the film, we come back to that point. And that's why in a way, the film keeps on jumping to different genres throughout. It is a biopic, it is a drama, but it's also about a drama of making the atom bomb. It gets political in nature, it becomes a thriller, then it's a procedure investigation, then it becomes a courtroom drama, and we just keep hopping from one to the other. And that's why, even being 3 hours long, it's very fast paced. There's no time to relax. Now the background music was outstanding, but the sound design. And here again, there are non-linear elements. Because the story is in the POV of the character, that character has lived all his life and now he's telling it to us. And through that narration, some of his memories keep leaking. And that's why from the start, whenever he's talking about atoms, what he wants to do in life, we keep getting flashes of it. Flashes of the bomb exploding. The different visuals Nolan created to depict that. And that happens with sound design also. We keep hearing different sounds which are not part of the scene right now, but they come later. With the foot tapping sequence, it comes way later in the film, but we keep hearing that before itself. And I'm sure there are so many more examples like that. And the big part of the film is the moral dilemma of Oppenheimer, country versus humanity. The film is also exploring different political ideologies. And there's a talk of grief. What he did changed the entire world. It led to the death of thousands of people. And the impact of that is still present today. And the question is he a hero? And I like that the film kept it very vague. It kept it open for us. The line, Prometheus stole fire from the gods and gave it to man. For this, he was chained to a rock and tortured for eternity. And we see that play out for Oppenheimer in the film. Now, he did make the bomb, but who used it? I remember when I studied about Hiroshima and Nagasaki in my history classes, I used to question, how can US be the hero of the war? How can the death of innocents be justified? And history has not been that kind to them. And that's where the question arises. Do you blame the person who created the weapons or the ones who are using it to wage war? When it comes to survival, you sit and do nothing or fight back. Now the whole sequence of the Trinity when the bomb was first tested. Wow, spectacular. The expectation is when the bomb goes off, it will be loud, you will feel it. And we do get that, but after a long moment of silence. And the whole theater was quiet. And that's where we get the line from Bhagavad Gita. I have become death. the destroyer of worlds. Now please let me know, it was black screen when he says this. And I feel like it was not Cillian Murphy saying that. It was a line from real Oppenheimer. There's actually a video of that, him saying it.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
And I think Nolan used the real words there. Is that a known fact? Let me know that. That whole sequence was epic, but it was that last 1 hour of the film where the debates are happening, we are getting the reveals, the intercutting of fall of Oppenheimer and the rise of Strauss, and then the fall of Strauss and rise of Oppenheimer. That was outstanding. It was like a masterclass in editing. Shout out to Jennifer Lame, the editor. She also did Tenet for Nolan. I think every department did a great job, especially the cast. Cillian Murphy leading from the front, Robert Downey Jr., he was so good. And with his character coming to the ending, we kind of end the film with the scenes with the ones we started the film with. The last puzzle piece. What did Oppenheimer say to Einstein? And Strauss was like, oh, they were talking about me. He never talked to me, this, that. And that character basically represents the humans, the power-mongering humans, who are just so self-obsessed. They don't see anything in the world apart from themselves. He's just so ignorant of what's happening in the world. Because the interaction they had, they were talking about the world, that they have started the chain reaction. It is the beginning of the end. The gods have given the weapons to the man, and it will only end with a nuclear holocaust. And the image of Earth burning, that's what Nolan leaves us with. To ponder, to think, to understand where we are heading. Now, I'm not sure where I'll rank this film in all the Christopher Nolan films till now, and I'm actually planning to make a ranking video with all his films. So to get that, do subscribe to the channel. And in this video I talked about the strike in Hollywood can actually help Indian cinema. How? Find out. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked it, the thumbs up button, share this, and I'll see you next time.